Hello and welcome to the Mizzou Engineering eWeek lab exhibits for 2021. Unfortunately, we cannot be doing these presentations or these activities in person with you all this year, but we hope that you enjoy the presentations and the recording of the activities that we put together. So today we're going to be talking about what industrial engineers do, and we're going to be talking about the topic of ergonomics. So to start, what is an industrial engineer? Industrial engineers apply science, mathematics, and engineering methods to solve problems and make systems more efficient. They are concerned with saving money, time, resources, and much more. The goal of every industrial engineer is to find different ways to make things better. And it might seem that some things can never be made better and that some things can never be changed, but that's why there are industrial engineers, because we are constantly looking for ways to continuously improve everything that we are around.
So what is ergonomics? Understanding the interactions among humans and other elements of a system. The design and evaluation of tasks, jobs, products, environments, and systems to make them compatible with the needs, abilities, and limitations of people. So basically, ergonomics is the study of how humans work in a system and interact with each other in equipment or the systems involved.
So what is the goal of ergonomics? The first goal is to improve human performance. Another goal is to improve worker health and safety. Another goal is to improve the user satisfaction and productivity while on the job. And to wrap that all up, the main goal is to make it easier for workers to do their job, because the easier it is for a worker to do their job, the less money it's going to cost the company to do that job.
So why is ergonomics important? Well, obviously, safety first is the priority, and it should be in everything that we do. Especially in a production facility, we want to make sure that our workers are being safe, because if not, that would be really bad if something happened to them and they got injured. And if workers are being safe and they're comfortable, they're going to be happier. And happier workers are going to work harder and going to do their job and be happy in doing so and supporting the company and their mission. And so therefore, better ergonomics lead to better production and a successful company. So not only will we be making more money, but we're keeping everyone safe, which is the most important thing.
So not only is studying ergonomics important for the safety of workers, but it can also prevent companies from spending lots of money on worker injuries. So how much do companies spend on worker injuries? So OSHA is the Occupational Health and Safety Administration. It's the government organization that is responsible for making sure workers are kept safe and have good conditions. And OSHA has cited that ergonomic industry injuries cost anywhere from $45 to $54 billion every year across America. The costs for the most common ergonomic injuries per person are things like carpal tunnel syndrome, sprains, strains, hernias, inflammations, among many others. So the more worker injuries a company has, the more likely they're responsible for paying for some of those health costs that occur to their workers.
So here are some pictures of what would be bad ergonomics. In this upper left-hand picture, you can see a guy that are trying to move boxes, and they are using bad posture to move boxes. I don't know if anyone has ever told you to lift with your legs, not your back, but you can see here the guy is using his back, and that can cause different injuries to the back, or somebody like the picture on the right-hand side in this group of three, he's lifting something that's above his head, and he could potentially cause that to fall on top of his head, which would create an injury. On the upper right-hand side, you see a very unsafe worker who is balancing on top of a car engine. He's not squarely planted on the ground, so he could fall, and that would be really bad. You see a guy that's basically bent over into a box. It would be really easy for him to tip over on the box, and that could hurt his head. And most commonly, people that are sitting at a desk job, they're sitting with bad posture. And that can be a common cause of carpal tunnel or persistent neck pain. which can get worse the longer you sit in poor posture.
So how do industrial engineers work with ergonomics? Well, as industrial engineers, we want to design workstations to be an appropriate height. So as you saw with those images of the individuals bending over with their back at a 180-degree angle, we want to avoid that. So it is important for us to design workstations so that our workers do not have to bend over. Then we also want to invent tools that can make work easier for employees, whether this be a new hammer or a screwdriver with a better handle that makes gripping it easier. We also, as industrial engineers, can create new products that make life easier for people like you and I. And then also we use what is called the 6S method to organize areas where work is done. So the 6S method is consistent of sorting the area, so getting rid of objects that are in the way that you don't need to do your job. Step 2 is setting them in order, so taking them and organizing them in a way where you have easy access and you know where everything is. Step 3 is to shine the area, which means to clean, get rid of dirt, debris, and anything that just makes the area look ugly. We want to have a good, clean workstation that we can take pride in. 4 is to standardize, so develop rules so that every single day we are doing steps 1, 2, and 3 before we start our job. Step 5 is to sustain. We want to create a culture within a company to continuously do this in every area within that company where work is being done, such as in a manufacturing plant, in different stations. We want to be sustaining and having everyone follow 6S. And then most recently is that has been added to the 6S methodology is safety. So using things like eyeglasses, painting aisles on floors, and many other precautions to make sure that workers are sitting safe and in dangerous environments.
So ergonomic products are all around us. You might recognize some of these products or maybe recognize some others that you have at home. For instance, the pillow in the top right is ergonomic because it's shaped to suit your neck or head. It should be more comfortable than a standard pillow. Just below that are scissors that you might have seen, the ergonomic scissors. So they're meant to be more comfortable to use and more safe, especially for kids to use with the design of its handles and the blades. The top left, you have a lot of things that you would use at maybe an office job. So there's ergonomically designed chairs, desks, tables, keyboards, mouse pads, all are designed to help you work more comfortably, better, to reduce injury. Just below that, there's what's called the shadow board. This makes it easier to realize when tools are missing. Usually the tools would all be in that board, but you can tell when they're missing because you see an outline of the object that's clear what it is, and you can point out that it's missing and where it should go and that you should find it and put it back. Over on the right is what's used for shopping bags, and it's a way for you to carry in all your groceries with less strains to your hands and fingers to make the process easier and more comfortable for you.
It is time for a game to demonstrate ergonomics. So we will be demonstrating the Workstation Lego race. What is the Workstation Lego race, you might ask? Well, in the game that you will see here in a second, participants will line up at 2 different workstations, and their goal will be to create blocks of Lego products as fast as they can within 2 minutes. One station is going to be pretty nice and clean and ergonomic, while the other is the complete opposite. So we're going to see which workstation ends up producing the most products in the end. So how does this relate to industrial engineering, you might ask? Well, it's important to have a clean, organized workstation through the 6S method, as we talked about, in order to properly do a job. And it also is important to make sure that workstations are at an appropriate height and that the layout of everything is proper so that workers are able to work efficiently and make more products within the time that they have in it. But before we show you that, thank you for watching the presentation about the topic of ergonomics. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment on the video below, and we will answer your questions or respond to your comments as soon as we can. So thank you for watching our presentation and enjoy the activity.
Welcome to the Ergonomic Lego Workstation Race. So we have 2 workstations today that will be producing Lego products for our company. So we will be producing walls of Lego blocks and based on certain colors. So over here we have white, orange, black, red, and purple. And then over here at our second workstation, we have gray, yellow, blue, green, and brown. So the goal is to race against each other. We have this line of 2 participants and this line of 2 participants. And the goal is going to be to see how many products can be produced at each station within 2 minutes. So we're going to go and see which workstation, the ergonomic or the not ergonomic workstation, is going to produce more products within 2 minutes. So let's see who wins. Ready, set, go. One, done. Jill's getting there. Where she's giving a good shot. That's 2 for station number 1. Station number 2 is getting there, slowly but surely. Oh, station number 1 complete. Good, we got 1 product. Done. 3 products for station 1 in 2 minutes. And over here in station 2, we have properly assembled 1 correct unit. Good. So, as we talked about earlier, having a workstation that is ergonomic is much better for workers to produce products as opposed to a workstation that's not ergonomic. As you can see, this one is much taller as compared to this, which makes it a lot easier to work. When Ryan steps up to the table, you can see that the station is completely out of range and he has to bend over in order to work, which could lead to strain in his back and fatigue over a long period of time. And we have a good labeling system over here, good color coordination and separation, while at this station, you can see it's just a complete mess. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you learned that ergonomics make a big impact in the production of products. And thank you to our participants.